Welcome to the following presentation of Minor League Esports on the MLE Network.
Season 12. Sorry, I was watching that brilliant fancy intro we just did. That was mental. I absolutely love it here. Welcome to MLE Esports GG. This is the home of the mainstream for Minor League Esports Season 12. And we're bringing you some great action this evening. Academy League kicking us off. But before we get to any of that, I am Fallen, and joining me on my left is a wonderful man named Thunder. And Thunder is here to help tell us about the series that's about to take place. How are you, Thunder?
Oh, but before we get to the series, this is the kickoff for the mainstream for Season 12. This is a big deal. I'm super excited for this to get things going on the mainstream. B-Stream is already one series ahead of us. They've got some action and a sweep on their hands on the other side. I think that was Pirates handing that to the Outlaws, also in ACAD. So let's get down to business on our series, which is Academy League. It's twos, and it's the Puffins versus Spartans. So this will be part of the doubleheader matchups that are outside of divisions. And so it's two teams that are meeting each other probably, only once this season. And the Puffins are the reigning AL champions. So of the two teams out here, they're the ones with a lot to prove.
Yeah, coming off a big win on the championship Saturday, they came through with that win, but have started off the season a little rocky in ACAD, especially in the twos game mode. Having a match on an affiliate stream on Thursday, they came up short 2-3 against their divisional rivals, the Sabres, in that Arctic division, which isn't necessarily the best start, but you know, it is only a 2-3 loss. One game down isn't that bad a start to the season, and especially with a matchup win against the Spartans, so you can see them pushing on for a championship or maybe even a divisional run if they just want to start with that first. But for now, looking at the roster, it's the same lineup as that twos game. You've got Sean RPS and Anna Boost for them, but for the Spartans, we got Paulie Taco and Andre21, two mainstays of the Academy League division. Andre, I believe, was on the Flames for a while in the previous season, and Taco has been with the Spartans since Season 10. He has been a mainstay of their team and has been the AGM/GM, I think, now for quite a while, and he's been doing a great job with them. So to see this clash of constant ACAD players, you mentioned Ada Boost beforehand before we came onto the broadcast, it feels like there's a lot of stories coming into this one, and I'll just be interested to see how it pays off. Are the Puffins going to come away with a win, or are the Spartans going to take it home?
Well, it's as early in the season as you could possibly ask to get a prediction out of me, so don't even at this point. I'm not going to try to make a call on that. We got no stats to go on. We got nothing except the pedigree of either of these franchises. They both have storied histories. But right now, none of that is going to matter all that much. It's just the Puffins and the Spartans in Academy League. So let's get the action underway here. This may start off with a bang as a shot goes on target from Andre, dancing on the goal line. The save does come through, though, Fallen. Clearly, these teams are wasting no time giving us some action on the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, normally you get a feeling out process in these sorts of matches, but not this time around. Anna Bruce forcing this one down the field. We'll look to try and tee up an opportunity for Sean, who can't make contact with it. And now Andre picking up that 100. We'll pick up a second on the way down to take the player of Sean out of the way, and Anna Bruce with another epic save. That's one for each member of the Puffins already. That is an incredible start defensively to keep two good shots out. Now Andre looks to do it again. Tries to tip that one in front of the net, but can't put it down into the crossbar. Paulie Taco with the shot off the bar, off the post, and out. Can't find the angle to put it home. And the Puffins will get away with that one. It is still tied 0-0 with just under a minute gone.
Oh boy, I think we might see an opening goal finally. An open shot here, and Sean's going to close this out. Now, I have to pose a question here that we could be running into some administrative issues. Is a 3v2 allowed in MLE Esports rules? Because this team of Sean, Out of Boost, and the Puffins Crossbar totally unbeatable on defense right now, and the Spartans, they're playing with a player down essentially against that bar. It's ridiculous.
It feels like that bar has been so favored towards them so far. We've spoken about Lady Luck shutting down, but the Mr. Post has been doing a great job of holding his own and standing tall throughout most seasons. Can he hold strong against this offense though of the Spartans? Right now, Puffins doing just enough. Out of boost, we'll send this one up onto the backboard. Can he put it on target? No, just rotates out for boost. Forces a challenge from Volleyball Taco. That miss almost tees up Sean, and now the Puffins firmly on offense, firmly planting that one in the back of the net with that wonderful new overlay that we've got going. That is a wonderful goal to tee it up for the Puffins. 2-0 lead.
A fantastic win there in the corner from Out of Boost, just eking out that touch and cleanly getting it away. It wasn't a 50-50. They knew that they had to touch it past the player on the wall, and it would be a pass mid, no matter what the power or the placement might be. But speaking of power and placement, we're not even going to be able to finish talking about that previous one. Sean adds another to the tally here with a strong freeze on the kickoff from Out of Boost.
Yeah, 3 goals off 3 shots from Sean has been clinical in front of the net, doing everything that the Puffins have needed to. And Thunder, this one, it's already starting to get a little out of hand for the Spartans. They're going to look to try and calm this down and get some of that midfield possession, but you got to feel those opening chances that were just sorely missed by a couple of inches at times. You feel like they're playing on the minds of them a little bit.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I really saw a strong play at the outset from here, a couple of strong plays, and no results coming from it. I'm not going to be able to finish that point either. Poorly Built Taco is listening in and thinking, nah, we're going to cash in on those opportunities we had previously by getting one on the board now. And at the 3-minute mark, there's a lot of game left here. This is more than doable for the Spartans to bring this one back. A couple of goals in 3 minutes is something that, from a team with the offensive firepower they've been showing. Okay, should I just stop at this point? I just quit. Basically, I can't talk for more than 5 seconds. Anytime something happens from now, you're just going to hear, oh, nice shot, nice pass. That's about it, so that I don't end up being wrong about what's happening on the field.
Yeah, Sean with his 4th. Another kickoff goal for the Puffins and the Spartans. You've got to work something out. You can't keep giving away goals like that, because that's just allowing the Puffins to dominate this fixture. Out of boost, great beat there. Grabs both boosts, puts it in front of the net, but can't put it on target. Taco, good clearance away just to get it down the field and give the Puffins a reason to back up onto defense. Good challenge there. That one's in front of the net. Andre goes up. Can't beat out of boost. Great clearance from him. Strong. Takes both players out of the play. Sean putting that one in front of the net. And out of boost with no boost in the tank. How ironic is the name right now? Could not find the shot to beat out the defender. And that one will also not beat the defender. End-to-end stuff, and we're barely inside half a game gone. That is... If this is what we're going to see for the rest of today, I am looking forward to the streams.
Nice shot.
Oh, great pass.
What a goal.
As out of boost, we'll put that one home. And bury it. That was perfect timing, Thunder.
Yeah. I pick my moments.
I have no commentary to add to that. That one's just going to go in on its own. In the Puffins. Looking, I want to go with dominant. I think that's the correct word to use right now. They are in control of this series, and they look set to carry on and push on maybe into game 2.
There are a laundry list of descriptors for the Puffins right now, none of them looking too pretty for the Outlaws team in game number 1. And it's a game... It could have just gone so differently had those shots been on target in the early stages. You really don't know what could have transpired had the the Colors really throwing me here. The Spartans, had they taken the early lead, this could have been a completely different show. But full marks to the performance here from Sean and Out of Boost, Sean in particular, doing a lot of offensive work for this team. And you know what? After that opening, they haven't been tested all that much. On defense, I've yet to see anything really threatening here from the Spartans after that opening flurry, and we do need to see it, obviously, because this is not cutting it for them to take any games in the series.
Yeah, one thing I saw, because luckily I got the chance to cast both of these boys in their first match of the season against the Sabres on that affiliate stream. Oh, unlucky from Sean off the post and out. It feels like it's just been a bit unlucky for both of them so far in terms of keeping that ball on target and in the back of the net. But I got the chance to cast them against the Sabres, who were arguably the stronger team on paper. Big C with, I cannot remember his teammate for the life of me, I apologize, as the Puffins will make it 6. They look dominant, the Sabres, up until about game 3, at which point the Puffins locked down a midfield rotation, and that has really been the key in this game. They've had that midfield rotation working perfectly, and they have looked so strong because of it.
And it really feels to me as though once those first 30 seconds or so went by and the Puffins got comfortable on the field, they stopped affording any room whatsoever for the Spartans to get up to any of their tricks. You saw a few flashes of attempts from plays that were looking pretty sick from Anže in particular, but not after the beginning of the game. So it's been brilliant work smothering that space from the Puffins and not allowing any of that stuff to come through. That's a great way to do it. Speaking of which, as Sean just removes the second half of the offense and a huge Dominus flick flips away from the ball and has no support in the back from out of boost. So there's a chance, not really needed, being up 6-1. It does go by the wayside, however, and here's a challenge in the midfield. Anže trying to finish strong here for the Spartans. That's a tap off the back ball. Could be answered by poorly built Taco, but it's a poorly built shot off the crossbar. And again, the Puffins' ironwork keeps the ball out, and they take the game 6-1. What a convincing opener.
Yeah, that is the sort of start that is kind of horrifying for the GM FM in B++. He's sitting in on this. I believe he's catching replays for the players. But that's the worst case scenario in the case of the Spartans. You do not want to start your season off going 6-1 down. Game 1 on the mainstream for your first streamed match of the season. It's a momentum breaker. It's a morale breaker. And it'll take a lot mentality-wise to bring those players back into a positive space for them to continue pushing on now.
Well, thankfully for the Spartans here, it's Rocket League. And a shellacking like that can completely disappear in the next game. Literally, we see it happen time and time again, all the way from Foundation League up to when we're rocking a stream for RLCS Sam on this channel. It really doesn't matter. Blowouts happen and they can be reversed in momentum really, really quickly. So that's one good sign here for the Spartans, but there aren't many, to be honest, because the Puffins look so solid. They're coordinating super well, being consistent with their hits for the most part. And they just have to keep doing that. Basically, the recipe is all here for success for them.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to bring up is from that affiliate series. There was a game, there was a point in that series where Sabres went 2-0 up. The way they went 2-0 up was kind of worrying. Game 2 was a 9-3 win for the Sabres against the Puffins. It was a complete domination on the field. They looked super strong, and the Puffins had nothing going for them. But they were able to turn it around in Game 3 with an overtime win. They were able to win Game 4 3-0 and look the much stronger team in that game, and looked set to win the series, bar just one goal going in at the final death for the Sabres to win that series and survive a resurgent Puffins. It feels like the Puffins have just taken that momentum and thrown it right in the face of the Spartans, and the Spartans have been caught out by it ever so slightly. You want to slow a game in Game 1, but Puffins have just not given them that.
It may very well be that the Puffins this duo are really benefiting from, I guess, the managerial decision to play the same pairing in a doubleheader in the same weekend. That really can lend some positives, and the chemistry may not have paid off for them in that first series, but another crack at it so soon after that series and a chance to get back into the game with that same pairing, I think it's paying off so far. So that could be a recipe for success for many teams here, is getting teams consistent play within the span of a weekend where you might have multiple series and multiple game modes of teams playing together now in Season 12. That could be really beneficial here. So you might see players and pairings and trios with long stints over the span of a weekend improving from time to time.
Yeah, and especially with the move from not only 2s but to 3s as well, you'll be seeing players in the Academy League sometimes pulling triple, even quadruple duty throughout certain aspects. We are currently fixing some technical difficulties with the stream. That's why we're taking a little bit of an extended break. But for these players, it really feels like that they've had already a lot of time to work with each other. And really with that sort of extended off season, it's very hard to get into a rhythm of chemistry immediately with your teammates. Sometimes it'll take a week or two just to get up to speed and to get up to that sort of rhythm and get that sort of it's a samba beat almost at times when you're on the field. You're just bouncing between each other like I don't really have a metaphor for this one, unfortunately, but you get my point. It feels like it takes some time to get up to speed. And really, it feels like the Puffins, they just needed that one series, especially Sean and Adaboost. This is a strong pairing. It's a threatening pairing, and they're looking to take the Spartans out as early as possible.
Well, let's take a peel back moment here for a second and look at what is an unprecedented season for MLE with the introduction of threes. As you talked about, this changes the shape of a whole bunch of different things within the league. The broadcast is going to look different. We're going to be flipping back and forth between 2s and 3s series kind of on the fly. It's different for the players who are having to they're having to learn essentially an entirely new game mode. As far as competitiveness goes, yeah, they might have queued a few ranked games in either 2s or 3s, whatever the case may be, but playing in a calmed environment competitively in a league is a whole different bag of cats when it comes to Rocket League. And I think there are going to be some players learning that the hard way in this opening weekend, just how different that other side of the fence can be mode-wise. And so we'll see that adjustment period in some matches that we see on stream here, but it's all positive to me, to be honest, in the long run. I'm so excited to see how it starts to pan out as the season goes along and how teams start to posture themselves to gain advantages on one side or the other and get playoff berths, because there are more playoff spots now to be had that threes has been added. So there's some strategizing to be done about eking out a spot on one side or the other as it gets down the stretch.
And as we get ready now, we do have everything sorted out, hopefully on our end. We're ready to go for game number 2. The Puffins with that 1-game series lead. Remember, we play all 5 games here during the regular season of Minor League Esports, regardless of the results of the previous one. So even if a team like the Puffins has that 3-0 sweep already, we'll still play the final 2, just to make sure that all the records even out by the end of the season. Right now, here at Neo Tokyo, which is honestly one of my favorite maps just from the design perspective. It has been a wonderful start for the Spartans. They're holding back the Puffins and might push on for a goal here as Taco not able to get enough power to beat out Adaboost and Sean on defense.
Now it's kind of floating in midfield here as Sean is going to grab control and send it into the corner. That's rebuffed by poorly built Taco only for a second, though. The shot placement is bang on from Adaboost as it rings off of the post and inside, and the Puffins grab another lead here.
Yeah, he did so well to put that one on target. Beautiful shot from Adaboost, and that worst case scenario for the Spartans. You take an extended break, maybe to reset yourselves. It's the perfect thing. We'll just talk it over. We'll think about it. We'll try and implement something different, and then just the same result immediately at the start of game number 2. You couldn't have asked for a worse way to get going. But now they have a bit of time. They still have 4 minutes on the clock, and they can still turn this one around. But it's on the Puffins to see if they can keep up that consistency, which is so crucial in Academy League, and keep up this run of good form.
In the middle of the field, that's a very solid challenge by Adaboost to keep the advances back. Andre trying to go over top, gets very firmly dunked, and that's going to be right on target. Sean RPS just posterized Andre and sent that off the ceiling and straight in.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful dunk there from Sean. Dove in early, and I feel like there might have been a delayed look from the defender who just wasn't necessarily expecting it to go that quickly towards him. But, you know, in this sort of game mode, you can't be too complacent, you can't be too slow. It feels like one mistake will always set you back a lot further than one quality play. And right now, the Puffins are just not making mistakes. They are being so consistent, and they're just getting the win. Sean will beat everyone. Oh, but the mistake comes out finally. Adaboost can't put it home, and the Puffins will not get their 3rd goal back to back. Instead, they will have to wait just a little bit longer.
I feel like I could picture the Foley sound effect of the car just flying by that ball as it rested on the goal line. So unfortunate there for the Puffins, they weren't able to find it. Granted, they're sitting on a 2-0 lead, so they're reasonably comfortable right now, but they may not be if poorly built Taco can find a challenge here into their zone. Andre sitting far back in the field, taps that straight downward. That's going to be a handover to the other team. And the Puffins now head into the offensive zone with poorly built Taco trying to fend them off in the corner. Does so a couple of times on challenges, not the 3rd though. Adaboost is out of movement, now awake. I think there was a slight pause there in the gameplay for Adaboost, not quite sure what would have happened. Andre trying to fire a low left side shot there on target, but again, shot accuracy is plaguing these Spartans.
There's one on target. Good save from Adabus. We'll keep that one at bay. But yeah, like you said, the Spartans, their shooting accuracy just not really up to par yet for Academy League. But one thing to note is also the way they move off of defense. Both teams are doing a unique style of changing. It's different for both of them. The Spartans are now luckily trying to change it up. They're trying to take control, and they're taking a little too long to get their touches. And that's allowing the Puffins to rotate in quickly and get good challenges. And that was the reason they did so well in the latter stages of their Sabres game. They were quick to the rotation, they were quick to challenge, and it really threw their opponents off. In the case of the Spartans, though, they're not rotating in quick enough. When they're on offense, they're taking a little bit too long. They're allowing the Puffins just a little bit too much room to work with on the defensive side and make the clears that they want to make. Here, Adabus has time to make 1-2 touches before the first challenge comes in, but at least it's a good one from Taco. He'll put it home, and the half the lead, 2-1.
And that is the heartbeat. That's the pulse here for the Spartans getting on the board in this game after a long scoring drought for themselves. They are back in it with a minute and a half to play in game number 2. They were severely stomped in game number 1. If you're just joining us, this is a 5-game set. We play all 5. And this is the Spartans trying to level the series here in the Academy League matchup. It's 2v2. And might not be the season opener for either of these teams. Certainly not the Puffins, as you were discussing their previous match result. But it's the season opener for us on the mainstream. And what a way to kick things off here as these two teams scrap away in that Puffins zone. It's a chance for Poorly Built Taco, and that is a tied game. Just capitalizing on a really difficult ball here that flies up and off the curve.
Yeah, and a beautiful boost steal there as well, just to get in time in front of that net to put that one home. Sean, really, it's one of the roughest reads. The Academy League mechanics are not going to be up there with the likes of your CL, your ML, your PL, but they are sometimes, and they find themselves because of that in certain situations where, you know, it feels like the pace has to slow down because they have to take a double look at something and have to have a double glance just to make sure, yeah, no, this is what I want to do. I can do this. Okay, now we're gonna go. And that hesitation can absolutely destroy a team's rotation, destroy a team's ability to keep moving at the same speed. But that is a lack of hesitation. Sean, 0 boost, sends it on target. Good save from Andre, will just about keep it out. And now the rotation forward. Volleyball Taco, good 50, will go towards the middle. Andre's up. Can he get the touch? He can't. That one will just fall into the midfield for Taco to control.
Could be trouble. That's a great recovery, though, from Poorly Built Taco off the self-pass. Tries to get it mid for Andre. Still trying to get a piece of that ball. Maybe he'll advise, though. This could be an opportunity for the Puffins back the other way, but Taco relentless at that midfield line, not allowing the ball to get any farther than that. Andre sends a ball towards mid. Dying seconds here. Final chance for either team. Not going to happen. And we've got overtime in game number 2. Very different as far as outcomes go compared to the regulation in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, the Spartans getting that second goal really sort of gave the game a little bit of life, but immediately Adabus will snuff that out. Beautiful read, beautiful pace to get there, and just sends it right under the crossbar to make it 3-2 Puffins and make the series a match point for them heading into game 3.
What a finish. What a quick, merciless finish there from Adabus. Just reading that off the corner of the wall perfectly. It was a tough read for that defender who was back there. I think it was Adabus in the corner, or rather Poorly Built Taco, who was in the corner having to wait for what would happen on that. But the spacing was just a little bit too wide. I think they gave too much room for Adabus to be able to read that play, and it opened up the opportunity for a shot. That could very easily have been a challenge that could have sent that away. But that's the hesitation you've been pointing to from the Spartans. It's that extra moment of waiting to see what might happen on a play. And the Puffins, if you watch their player views when they have an opportunity to challenge the ball, it's very clear that they see that hesitation and they're jumping at the chance to take the ball away from the Spartans because it's being offered to them so often.
Yeah, they've learned their lesson from their the beginning of this week's loss at the hands of the Sabres. It's very hard to figure out where you call Thursday. Is it the end of the week or the midweek? It's confusing.
It's our beginning. It's the beginning of our week.
It's our beginning. It's the beginning of the week. They came in, they looked a little weak, a little slow. They picked up the pace, they got up to speed, and they're just carrying it through. And they're doing such a good job at limiting the Spartans' offensive pressure. They've done such a good job at suffocating that midfield, keeping a quick rotation to stifle any offensive opportunities as we move with an amazing transition. Oh my lord, what's going on? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, game 3. I glanced over to see that, and I'm kind of glad I did. The Spartans need this game to keep the series hopes alive. They're going to look to start off strong. That's in front of the net. Can Andre get there? Yes, he can. He'll put it home, and it's 1-0 Spartans.
Well, you know what? I have pointed a couple of times to shot accuracy being an issue for Spartans.
I don't think you can miss that.
Andre had missed that shot, it would have been more than just a little problem that had been plaguing them. You would be insane, to be honest, to be able to get that away from the net. You'd have to try really hard not to put that on target. And we all relish the opportunity to get a shot like that on net, especially an opener, to start the game and give yourself a... Oh! Boy, now, speaking of unmissable shots, that was one for the Spartans, but that's the wrong net to hit it at.
Yeah, I want to just watch this again. Adabus puts that. That's on target, I believe. Heading off the far post and in. Just another good play shot. Volleyball tackle, the only one who can get there, but can't get around the ball enough. And that just sends it plummeting into their own net. Spartans, all of that good work off the kickoff, undone within seconds. There's another kickoff goal, goes in the favour of the Puffins, and they look set once again to push on maybe in this set and take another game win here, but it is only 40 seconds in. This game has been a little bit more even, and right now the Spartans are mounting some pressure. Volleyball Taco trying to keep this one in the offensive zone, but good control from Adabus, good pace as well to set up Sean for that big clear, and that will stifle any offensive opportunities and bring an end to any creativity from the Spartans as they have to rotate back.
I love the attempts and the passing connections we're seeing from the Spartans, though. In terms of signs of life for them, that is a big one. Andre looking to the mid to try and find that one in front of the goal mouth. It's well cleared away by Sean. Second-guessing themselves a little bit, tries to chip it forward, chips it about straight up to the moon. That's going to give possession back to the Spartans here. Poorly built Taco now in the corner, beaten out to it by Out of Boost. Andre takes to the skies. Likes to be up there, it would seem. Maybe a flip reset? No, not quite.
That'd have been something.
They were fishing for it, I think, and it definitely would have been something, but not quite going to come to fruition here. Still, the challenge is good from Andre. Picks up Boost as well. Taps high, taps even higher, and Andre, dazzling goal there to take the lead back for the Spartans in Game 3.
Beautiful dribble here from Andre. Takes one touch, goes for the second, and just tips it over out of Boost in the net. Perfect placement under the crossbar. That one, I'd say, would be up for a Player of the Week nomination, wouldn't you say, Thunder?
I wholeheartedly agree. That was as clean as they come from Andre, and I gotta say, I've been seeing the potential for solo effort goals from Andre throughout the entirety of this series. It's just never, and I credited this to the Puffins play, they've never had the space to do that. But that's the first opportunity you've seen, and boy did they cash in on that here. Puffins are in their back end now, defending again against an onward Spartans team here who look much more comfortable pressing into the offensive zone. That's a dangerous touch into the mid. Still controlled by Andre. Beautiful opportunity for a setup touch. Aerial play. Lots of time. Double tap attempt. Sharp angle off the wall. This is a player that, given the filling in the right gaps in terms of strategic play, rotations, and decision-making on the field, Andre is a player you could see elevating to the next league, definitely by the end of this season.
Absolutely, he has the mechanical skill. It's all about the consistency now. The one plaguing factor of Academy League players, it seems at times, is how often you can link up your mechanical skill with your rotational skill. If you can lock the two down, you're going to be moving up leagues faster than you can say Udo. You're going to be flying up the ranks. You're going to be climbing the ladder. You can throw all the metaphors you want for going up a league, but really, it could go. You could also really quickly find yourself, you lose that consistency as we get an almost rule one, as Sean will go right underneath Volleyball Taco there. We'll actually get a goal maybe off of this one. He will. Beautiful turn, beautiful shot over the top of Taco. We'll make it 2-2, but in this case, in one slow run to that ball from Andre just gave Sean way too much room. Puffins have a tie game.
And Sean there, as far as offensive shifts go, decided to put in a little overtime. They were set to rotate out on that play, but smelled an opportunity to slide back in and cut the rotation on that far side. Cutting rotations in twos can be a huge detriment, but every once in a while, oh my goodness, Anže looking for more in terms of air dribble plays here. This is a pass back center. Out of boost, fully whiffing on that ball. Might open up a chance here for Anže, who also whiffs. Now into the corner. A touch for Little Taco. So often playing the instigator and the aggravator, just keeping the possession in the zone for so long for the Spartans, but unless they can generate scoring opportunities out of it, it's going to be lost on their efforts. Sean RPS, meanwhile, trying to steer one towards the mid, flips out of the corner, out of boost, tackles to the near side. Anže needing to make a save. Poorly built Taco makes a save off the crossbar. And Spartans stay alive in this game by the skin of their teeth. What a save on the goal line.
I feel like it's only the second time in this series that the crossbar and the post have been favourable for the Spartans, and it really worked in their favour this time around. But it's still not out of the woods yet. Short for Anže diving across. Beautiful save from him to keep that one at bay. But now the Spartans may look for a chance of their own. Taco puts it on target, but Adabus will be there for the save. And the Puffins will hold on defence. Now we'll look to transition to offence. Good trip from Taco will give Anže a little bit of room, but that's not the touch you want to make it. Taco can't keep it out! And that's the most unfortunate own goal of the day, because that gives the Puffins a 3-2 lead with 21 seconds to go.
Oh, you really hate to see it. You really do, and it's that consistency we talked about, and it comes in the worst of situations sometimes when you hope you can be consistent on the ball, but when the pressure is on in a spot like that where you need to, it's a pass-fail, need to make a clear. The nerves can play here, but maybe a goal is going to come through. Poorly built Taco. Fantastic communication here from Anže on the goal line and harassment to open up the spot. And you know what? Poorly built Taco doing a bit of an Anže impression there with a very similar goal, air dribbling it up into the top 90.
And you got to feel that's the mentality back on now. He's scored an own goal, but he's also the reason they're still going to overtime. He put that one home when he needed to. And now the Spartans, are we about to see two games in a row? Yes, we are. Another overtime. Will this one be another 7 seconds, or will it go just a little bit longer? The Puffins will look to start off strong. Fake kickoff strats here from the Spartans. It'll be Taco going to grab the boost. Anže will get the ball. That one, great ball from Taco. Out of boost, gets put out of the way. Anže puts it home. The Spartans will take game 3.
They are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Poorly built Taco just ruins Out of Boost's day, and Anže, it did not need to be a big flick. It just needed to be enough. It was, and the Spartans, in a thriller of an overtime, take game number 3 and have staved off the series loss. This is getting more and more electric every game.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you throw two teams who are sort of getting to grips with how they rotate, how they play this season in the same lobby. You get quality. And right now we are seeing a story unfold here. The Puffins, the dominant team coming into this, had so much momentum, had so much control, sort of started to see it slip towards the end of game 2. Then had it completely just snapped away from them thanks to Anže's brilliant 3 goals and Taco's amazing equalizer in the dying moments of that game to bring the Spartans back from the clutches of defeat. And now, game 4's on the horizon and the Spartans are thinking, reverse sweep time maybe?
Well, it's going to have to be. It's a possibility. It's going to have to be for them if they want to hope at winning this series. Now, I think curiosity killed the Puffin here, because it seems like they posed the question, I wonder what would happen if we give Anže a little bit of space on transition. And they found out the hard way what would happen. And I have to point to a play that might have flown completely past most people's radars. And it was a pass from the middle of the field when Anže had a dribble opportunity to go up the field solo. But poorly built Taco was to the left. Anže opted for the pass instead, and they almost generated a goal out of that. That, to me, is the biggest positive for the Spartans, and the scariest thing about that team is that there is so much individual capability from a player like Anže, but they don't always leverage that. They use the resource they need to get the job done, or at least they did in the game we just saw.
Yeah, Utopia Coliseum is our location for game number 4, and Sean, with no crews, had to back off that one, and that may have been to their detriment. Now the Spartans Gonna sit on offense here off the kickoff. Great touch. Past one. Andre, can he rotate it around the ball? He can't just get in front of it. And Sean will just about dive back in time. The MVP, really, from that Sabres Puffins series early in the week, has done a lot of good work this series, but they're going to need him to step up a little bit more and find some more goals if they are to try and keep this Spartans team, this rampant Spartans team, who are so in form now, at bay. Bruce will look to do it himself, though, to start off with, and a beautiful goal from him will get the Puffins their 1-goal lead.
My goodness, have there been just an outpouring of fantastic individual efforts and dribble plays from both of these teams. It's really a joy to watch, to be honest. I loved seeing the skill on display on the field, particularly at this level. Academy League, no slouches. You can say that, to say the least. And Anjay finds a quick touch on the inside post to tie the game. Man, leads do not last long in this series.
They do not. Andre just getting the one little bit of a touch off of the kickoff just to beat out the first player in outer boost. And then that inch perfect placement just inside of the inside post. That's all you need to do sometimes. And it's a goal. But now the Spartans on the back foot. Maybe another kickoff goal. Outer boost can't put it on target. Sean puts it back in front of the net. Adabus just rotated out ever so slightly, wouldn't be getting there quick enough. And the Spartans will hold defensively momentarily as they now look to build up the field. Taco looks for the boost, will get it, but won't get the ball. And that's Sean, open net, beautifully done off the side wall. And that is 2-1 Puffins.
Name a more iconic duo than the corner of the Dominus hitbox and the ball. I dare you to name a more iconic duo. That is why I've been playing so much Dominus lately, because there is just no better feeling than the way that car strikes the ball sometimes. And Sean definitely put that on full display there with that goal. I knew the moment they left the wall that was going to be a goal, given how open it was on the back end. And I'm pretty sure Sean knew it too by the looks of it.
But do not discount an Octane and Dribbling. I think those are some pretty decent pairings as well. You can see that ball be carried all the way up and down the field. Andre looks to try and control it. Can't find a way to keep out a boost off the ball, so it will fall to the Puffins. Sure, not the greatest touch, but it will bait out volleyball tackle and bring him upfield. And a good demo there from Sean onto Andre may have just saved them from going a tied game, because that was an opportunity for Taco if he'd have found the pass to Andre, who unfortunately just wasn't there for the receive, wasn't there to receive that pass and put it home. And now the Spartans have to build a whole new attack once again.
They look to be doing so, though, here out of the corner after a pinch sent the ball careening down the field. Control from poorly built Taco. How on earth did Taco evade a demo or a bump long enough to get that ball on target? I need to see it again. Oh my goodness, it wasn't even a flick, it was literally just driving in the right direction just long enough to get that headed towards net. And I think it definitely took the other defender off guard. They did not expect that ball to be headed goalward.
The tiniest of last second touches, literally the pixel before he gets bumped away, is enough. But the Puffins immediately look to rectify their 1-goal lead, put it back on top, but they couldn't find a way to put that one on target. Sean having to rotate back, and it will be out of boost making the challenge. Will pass it back in fact to Sean and tries to get out of the way. Does a great job of doing so. And now the pace quickly transitioning onto offense again. But Andre is equal to it on defense. Now he goes around one, gets bumped, so he might not get to this one first, and he won't. Out of boost, great challenge there. But the Spartans are looking to try and knock down a midfield play, and that is a miss from Sean, and that is an open net that will not be missed by Andre. The shooting woes have gone. The Spartans can put home one if they need to. It's 3-2.
Oh, I gotta say, I'm wondering if Spartans fans and if Andre were holding their breath when they hit that shot, because that's one of those open nets you have just enough time to think about, and those genuinely are the worst ones, because you have that time to doubt yourself and whether you can put that on target. The Spartans have missed more than their fair share of shots this series, but thankfully Andre hit that one when it counted, and it's going to count a whole lot if that ends up being the game-winning goal. Although Sean, it's not quite on target this time. It's the Spartans crossbar that's playing a role on their team. Poorly built Taco levers one, far side, it's dipping. Sean, nice save across the goal line there. Andre now with a challenge. It's going to spit out into the middle of the field. Out of boost. Dives in on that one and doesn't get the shot. Sean and poorly built Taco. That's going to go the way of the Spartans here. What can Andre do with it? Trying to go for the air dribble. Ooh, Andre, I know that you've got some capability in that department, but that feels like a huge missed opportunity to just fire a power shot at net.
But it won't matter, I don't think. Taco sends that one home. And this has been a game of mistakes now. It's turned around from being mechanical skill to consistency. Neither team, with that main stage pressure, just can keep consistently catching that ball in those situations. And really, the Spartans, they're benefiting from this. Now 4-2 up. They have a 2-goal cushion for the first time in this series. The first time they've led by more than one. And I feel like they're just thriving. If the later stages of this series completely juxtaposed to how the Puffins felt in the middle of their series on Thursday.
It is really the mirror image of that. And we'll see if the Puffins have an answer for this, because they've got a minute to find themselves a couple on the scoreboard here. Sean in some trouble, has to backflip touch that one. Oh, space given, no. Not the right decision there from Andre on the back end. The spacing really tough to decide whether you're going to go for that ball. And out of boost, again, that opportunistic decision making from the Puffins has played so well for them so many times in this series, and it has now brought them to within one, a lot of time left on the clock, two, to find one more goal.
Yeah, out of boost has been playing brilliantly on that sense to just deal with every single challenge and every single touch that has come his way. He's been able to put him home when he's needed to. That's a great touch from Sean. That's a beautiful touch from Sean, in fact. And he'll just tap it behind RJ. That's 4-4, tied game.
Oh, Sean. They fooled all three, count them, three players who could have made an extra touch on that ball. Their Puffin teammate had no chance. The Spartans had very little chance. They got a piece of it, but not the whole pie. And it's a tie game here. The Puffins can still win this series. And meanwhile, the Spartans have an opportunity to come back the other way. Nicely saved away by Sean. Andre, with no boost in the tank, has to find this one into the corner. Circles back for another play, gets the 50 into mid, but Sean's going to grab it. Long range shot here, just wide of the net. Missed touch from poorly built Taco, too high to make the save, and the Puffins may be stealing this series in the dying moments of game number 4.
Well, they took the lead with only 21 seconds left in game number 3. It's 18 this time, and they have that 1-goal lead again, but we know how resilient the Spartans are. All it will take is one good kickoff, one good play from either Andre or poorly built Taco, and they will find themselves in this, but that miss might be crucial. Sean and Adabuz taking their time, the long clear up to waste it. It is 7 seconds on the clock. The shot could save from Andre, but again, the Puffins in control.
2v1.
Last-ditch attempt. That will go down. Puffins will take game 4, will take the lead in the series to 3-1. They have the series wrapped up, but we still have a game to play.
You know what? Good thing, too, because this series is getting better game after game, and I know that mentally Game 5 isn't going to feel the same way to the Spartans here, but I sincerely hope they bring the same level of play. I'm having a blast watching and casting this series, and I would love to have another game that's been living up to this level we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, it has been a wonderful series all across the board. Sean, I feel like being the standout solo player for both teams, has just looked so confident when he's gone up and he's been able to hit those mechanically skilled shots. But at times, consistency-wise, if we just want to go with the most consistent player, that's Andre. He's been playing brilliantly. He's been able to consistently make touches that not many players in the Academy League should be making. You could make the argument, but has been doing such a good job with his rotation as well to always be back when he needs to be. Yes, at times it has failed because of just beautiful shots from Ada Boost and beautiful shots from Sean, but really, he's done enough, I feel, to warrant a possible MVP for this series for the Spartans. As we look to Game 5, Thunder, can the Spartans pull one back? Are they about to take it 3-2, or are the Puffins destined for a 4-1?
Well, at the very least, if you're the Puffins here, you've undone the damage that was done by the Sabres in the previous series that they played. So that's already positive for them. But, I mean, why stop there? Clearly, they want to take one more here and make this a convincing 4-1 series win. Meanwhile, though, that game was severely close between the Puffins and the Spartans here. We are no closer to deciding who might take this final one in the series, and what better arena to do it at than the picturesque, the beautiful, the unmatched Manfield night, a personal favorite of mine. Freshly cut grass, the stands packed to the rafters with weird little colored eggs. And yeah, we're off to the races here in game number 5. In the opening series, this has been of the mainstream on MLE Season 12. And this game mode might look familiar to MLE fans of past, this 2v2, but rest assured we've got some great things in store that are a little unprecedented. And oh my, Anjay going for another aerial style play there. And an opening goal could have gone the way, I think, of the Spartans on that one. They had a good amount of pressure on net, but the accuracy and the consistency on the ball, again, they fall a little bit short, and now it's the Puffins on offense.
I'm loving these rotations out and rotations in from the Puffins. They've been doing such a good job at hampering the Spartans in their own half and in the midfield. They've always got someone making a challenge on the ball. And it's really been key to them taking the controlling stake in this series. They've looked so good. They're always piling on pressure, always making a 50, always trying to get a player out of position. A good touch there from out of boost, but no rotation from Sean for the first time. It feels like in a while the Puffins didn't have a touch there and out of boost and a pinch off his own post to keep it out of the net. Minute 30 gone, longest time without a goal, and then they get that. Andre puts it home, Spartans on the play of the week.
Hello, goodbye, good night. Oh my goodness, Anjay, that was sick. That was not your average double tap, let alone for the Academy League level. That ball was moving on that setup touch. The accuracy on the shot was so good, there was no chance for the defenders. And there may have been some, I guess we could call them minor candidates for play of the week, or at least possible contenders. That one feels like a borderline shoo-in unless we see something pretty miraculous on stream.
If you feel like that, well, like us, feel like that was a Player of the Week nomination, please clip it. Send it over to the Player of the Week channel under the community tab in the MLE server, or send it to them via Twitter at MLEsports.GG with the hashtag Play of the Week or POTW to get that clipped, and get that man a case of balls Guarana, because that was absolutely delicious, and he sent it home with such fervor. I feel like the Puffins, well, that's shaking them up a little bit, and they're going to have to try and get something, and Sean will flick that one like turbo all the way down the field and give the Puffins a little bit of room to build an offensive chance from the midfield once again.
Had a boost with a chip off of that back curve. Anjay's going to have to do some solid work here, of course. We know they're capable. There's a touch back into the zone, though, as Edaboost sends it into the corner. Now at the middle of the field, Puffins underneath the ball, not finding a touch. Neither was the Spartan there, poorly built Taco, and now Anjay's got some control in the middle of the field. Opportunity to flick is reasonable there. Weak touch from Sean. Nice bailout, though, from Edaboost getting near it. Poorly built Taco fishing for a very difficult angle on that one. It's sent back down the other way here, off the sidewall. Anjay not willing to dive on that one and turn it into a pass here, and it's given control to the Puffins for a moment. Oh, but a long bomb. This is downfield on target, just inside that left post. And the Spartans have now got themselves one of the biggest goal spreads they've had all series. I think I remember only once in past when they were up 4-2 in game, the one we just had, I think, game 4, that they've had a 2-goal lead. So hopefully, counter to what we had just seen in that game, they can protect this one, because the Puffins are capable of coming back.
Yeah, I completely forget that was a 4-2 comeback from the Puffins. Good job for them. Somehow taking that one with limited time left. They managed to pull out a little bit of a miracle to get that one done up. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the Puffins in that passing plays in the offensive third. It's very rare you see that, because players are so sort of beeline for the goal. They're looking for those solo plays. They're looking for the glory. A bit like Anjay earlier on. Just looking for the fancy goal to put it home. But the Puffins recognise that solid twos play doesn't just come from solo plays. It comes from cohesion and a collective work ethic that both players have to put in. And they've done such a good job of doing that throughout the series. But with only a minute to go, they have to find a goal, and they might have to start flicking over to the Spartans' way of offense to try and get something going, because right now the Spartans are shooting them down at all angles.
I think that's come from a brilliant adjustment from the Spartans. That's off the post. Unfortunately, that could have been a huge chance and a huge pushback. Speaking of pushbacks, Anjay gets bumped off of the flick. This time the bump against the Spartans came soon enough that the flick didn't get on target. Didn't work out for them in the previous play we had seen with Puerto Taco, but this now leaves 30 seconds for the Puffins to score 2 goals. They're trying to keep it just in the zone here for the moment. Diving in on the play is Sean, but the touch is going to go the way of Anjay. Now a dive the other way, not going to get there in time. And poorly built Taco, who has been as just a pillar of this Spartans team all series long. Finds an extra goal there to make it 3-0, and I think that this series with that one is done and dusted. The Spartans having grabbed themselves a game back, staving off the 4-1.
Yeah, great job from him, and a great job from the Spartans to pull that one back. Mentality-wise, you know it's going to sort of drop after Game 4. You were this close. One goal would have done it for you. You just couldn't get the job done there to keep the series alive. But to take 2 games out of this series is a modest accomplishment, especially against a team that looked so good at the start of this series. To even get 2 is a surprising effort from them, and they've done a great job to make this a 3-2. But at the end of the day, the Puffins are the ones going to be celebrated. They take 3 game wins to sort of bounce back from a 2-3 loss at the Sabres. They will rectify that and go 5-5 for their opening week. A very strong start from them.
That's really, though, a strong start from the Puffins here for their series. As I said, reversing what they had done in the previous series, but I think an equally strong showing from the Spartans. This is a series, as we watched it go farther and farther, we knew that it could go either way at any given moment. We saw a 2-goal comeback, a miraculous one in regulation from the Puffins to keep the Spartans from being able to send this to a deciding Game 5. It's one that I think the stream will lament not getting to see, because it could have been so exciting to see these two duke it out for that series-winning game. But I think we still got a fantastic amount of excitement in game number 5, and a great showing from the Spartans team that I think show a lot of promise for the season, even though they didn't take the series today.
Yeah, and speaking of excitement, how about we ramp it up a little bit? How about we go all the way up to ML? Let's go for another series after this short intermission. We'll have the Dodgers, led by Inanimate J, versus the Elite, led by Ray Finkel. Those are the franchise managers, and those are the teams that will be on your stream in a 2 series coming up after a short break. Don't go anywhere. Me and Thunder will be right back with some more high-quality MLE action.